Good evening and welcome to the latest edition of the Old Git Gooners podcast. I have three guests here, all of whom have been on before and graced the airwaves, but I'm going to briefly introduce them after I actually introduce myself because I never remember to do that. So my name is Kevin Whitcher. I used to be, in my previous life, the editor of the Gooner fanzine for 20 years. Retired from that in 2020, which was good timing, just because my last issue was the first under COVID, and it was a grim time for selling anything outside matches for the year ahead. But anyway, that's me. I will now introduce a mix of people, one of whom used to contribute to the Gooner occasionally, which is Mr. Steve Killick. The next one is a man who I know for the Arsenal Supporters Trust. And also, someone popped in there. It's Alex, one of your kids, I suspect.
Yeah.
But back to my second guest, and we've done the odd protest before, and for various things, which is a bit of history between us there, but and face some wrath from Arsenal supporters for doing it. But it's good to have him on again. This time, apparently, with very good Wi-Fi, unlike his previous appearance. But it's a welcome to Mr. Simon Hill. And last but not least, a guy I've got to know through helping out with seats, basically. As, he's known as the mayor of the East Stand from memory, from by those who associates with him for reasons that, well, he does have contacts. I will say that because he knew in advance what the kickoff time and day would be for the Southampton FA Cup game. So he's the man on the pulse. It is Mr. Alex Croft. So,
Good evening,
gentlemen,
guys.
good evening. Good evening, Alex. So I'm going to start us off with, let's just do the game on, well, let's do Everton first, actually, because it was a bit special, wasn't it? I'm going to ask a first question. Were you getting nervous around about the 85th minute that Arsenal wouldn't actually do it? Or did you have every confidence that it would come good? Alex Croft, I will go to you first.
Um, I, I was worried about a 0-0, and I kind of always felt that the game we were quite controlled in the game. I didn't really feel that we were ever going to lose the game, but I was petrified for a draw. And when Gyökeres scored, it was just amazing. Um, Unfortunately for me, I missed the Dowman goal.
Ah,
Yeah,
what?
I missed the Dowman goal because my son, who's standing right next to me, I had to get him somewhere. So we saw the Gyökeres goal, and the 90th minute, we literally legged it to the car. Um, and this is the same son, by the way, and he's standing right here. And because of him, obviously, I love my son, do anything for my kids. I also missed the Reece Nelson goal against Bournemouth,
Ooh.
but I was in the
Ah,
stadium and I was helping him in the gents. He was yeah, it was a few years ago, obviously, but
okay.
yeah. So we missed the goal, but obviously we were walking back to the car. I was watching it on my phone, and obviously we saw everything, and it was limbs on Hornsey Road for us.
All right. Okay.
But
Well,
obviously a massive relief, and obviously the City game afterwards was just it was poetry the whole weekend.
yeah, the icing on the cake. Just to give some historical context, the goal I missed due to taking my own youngster to the loo was the Didier Drogba winner in the FA Cup semi-final in
Oh.
2009. So not the worst goal to miss, but there we are. Simon, were you confident in the boys? Did you ever doubt, or were
Never.
you
I'm,
thinking,
I'm
go on,
never confident. I'm never
never confident?
confident. No, I'm never confident. Good Lord, no. I mean, it's just, I suppose it's like, what is it, 50 years of trauma or more, really, of like, agony at the end. Yes, it's great when it happens, but those sorts of games, you just sort of think, oh no, here we go. I thought it was, it's Moyes, it's Everton, it's like, oh no. But I think we should actually line up Alex's son to need a pee at crucial moments during the end of our games against, Bournemouth and and Newcastle, etc. Because
Yeah, that's a
he
good
could
idea,
be our
Simon.
13th man. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a good idea.
I think it is. Feeling
Yeah,
for
Uh,
the coach.
The Reece Nelson one, wiping his bum in the East End toilet was not fun.
well, at least they didn't put it on the highlights video. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Steve, are you confident when the minutes are running out in this team? Because
Against Everton. Against, I
yeah,
mean, I am the classic Gooner. My glass is always half empty. Oh, and by the way, the penultimate cup final I went to see with my dad was Arsenal Man United, and Man United equalised through
Yeah.
Queen from memory, and I just felt so ill. I went down and had a pee. I thought we were going to blow this and walk back confident that Manchester United had just scored their third, and my father was going demented in row Z or wherever we were. So I missed that one. But yeah, that's my oh my God, I've missed the bloody thing. But no, any Arsenal Everton game, let's go back to Rooney, you name it. And also, if you really want consistent tedium over what pretty much we're talking now 50 years. I mean, since the days of Ball and Harvey and Kendall. I mean, Everton have been such shite to watch. I mean, they are without doubt. If you could have a like Trump's won the FIFA Peace Award, if you could have a FIFA Tedium Award, you would give it to Everton, who are still in the Premier League and are so frigging boring. So yeah, I was pretty confident it was going to be 0-0. And in fact, I went on Twitter X from home and said, well, there it is. It's 87 minutes. I told you. And then mercifully, it didn't bloody happen.
yeah. Well, the reason that it did was, of course, a 16-year-old lad. Someone had asked me the other day, does he actually still go to a physical school during the day? I mean, legally, he has to have an education. I just don't know how it works. Very interesting idea that this lad, he's probably, if he does, he's probably in a classroom where there's a few Arsenal fans. It must be the strangest experience for them. But anyway, I mean,
if it's co-residential, he must be fairly popular, I'd have thought.
Well, yeah, if you could imagine that. But who knows? He's certainly going to get more pocket money than the average kid in his class. That's a fact. But I mean, we've got one here, haven't we? I mean, the first question about Max is, how much do you think we are going to see of this young lad between now and the end of the season? And Simon Hill, I'll go to you for the prediction first.
Yeah, I think you see him a fair bit actually. If we get, more Evertons, and let's be blunt, this team is a magnet for tight games, and so I think that sort of makes him quite high up the list of probable subs to be brought into what inevitably is going to be a very tight period, with a ridiculous amount of games and a lot of very, very tired people not watching us, one of which is Saka, who's like, So I think we'll see a lot of him. He's got that X factor. The players all around him get a buzz. The crowd gets a fucking huge buzz. You're reminded back of like other sort of youngsters we've had in the past who've made the crowd get up and turned it on a bit. So yeah, I think we're going to see quite a bit of him, frankly, coming off the bench. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
we need it. I mean, we really do. Otherwise,
Well, yeah. I mean, we probably would not have won that game on Saturday without his
no way.
entrance.
No. Look, I love the way the ball hit Hincapie's cock and then rolled to Yorkers from a foot out. They could swing the golf club at it.
um, I mean, Steve, he plays without fear. That's the impression I get, because he just isn't afraid. The question is, why is he able to drift past players and Bukayo Saka isn't? It doesn't seem to add up to me. Is it just because they're tired, or what? What's going on?
I think Saka's had a hell of a lot of football in his young life. That's why I'm rather hoping that Benny White plays against Manchester City on Sunday. I think there is a certain rapport the two have, and I think that Saka invariably plays well when Benny's there. I just think, how old is Saka? 23, 24 now? I mean, he's just had an inordinate amount of football, and we're going to come on to it later. But, I think Odegaard is almost played out now with the physicality and the number of games we're getting. I hope that we can bring in Dowman if Arteta can overcome his natural caution, and I think this is always a major point. Being serious for a second, I think he is a man who, a bit like George Graham, I think would sooner put on a midfield player or a fullback than throw on another striker. But I think we'll see. Dowman. I'd like to see Odegaard come back, but I think we're going to come on to that. I think those days perhaps may have gone now. I just feel that Saka earlier this week, Saka in the European Cup game looked as though he was finding some form again, and he's a class act, and I hope that he can repeat it on Sunday, and I hope he can repeat it for the rest of the season. But to be honest, I think he's got to be managed carefully, because he looked to me as though he's been kicked to death.
Yeah, well, he's certainly gone down and had the trainer on enough times in the last couple of years. Alex, I am guessing that when Dowman is introduced as a sub, it's generally going to be to come on and improve a situation which isn't ideal. And the reason for that is because we can only assume that he's not going to be that wonderful at the defensive side of the game. So on that level, do you think that's justified, or do you think we should perhaps have a manager who's a bit braver?
I think we'll see him on Sunday, Dowman.
Wow.
I think whatever the score is, I think you'll see him. And I think he will start the Southampton game in the cup.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna have like important games coming up after the Southampton game that we're gonna need, fit bodies, fit players. I don't think. Look, I don't even. Does anyone even know the eventual position that he'll play? Because it's against the Mansfield. Obviously, it was a bit of a weird formation, and obviously maybe a bit of a one-off that game, a bit of an anomaly. I just wonder if I don't think Dowman is suited to the. I think he's more suited in the middle rather than on the right or the left, and especially he's got like not much in the way of upper body strength yet. I mean, bless him, he's only 16, the kid, and they'll get him in the gym for sure. I don't. If we can wrap up the title, depending on what happens in the next 3 or 4 league games, I think you'll see him start a league game. But I don't necessarily agree that he'll come on only, in an emergency situation. I think if it's not an emergency and you're 2 or 3-0 up and there's half an hour to go, I think he'll come on, and he deserves it. Look what he did. Look what he did the other day. It's interesting, Steve, what you mentioned about Ben White and Saka. I don't think Ben White will start on Sunday. I love Ben White. We all love Ben White. He just didn't look fit. He just couldn't run. He can't play. This guy cannot play 90 minutes of football. He can't do it. I don't know what the issue is with him physically, but he's not. There's no question he's not fit.
So who do we have in at right back then on Sunday? Because
I think Timber will play, and if Timber's not fit, look, maybe they'll start White, but
I don't think Timber looks at all fit when he.
No, I agree. Yeah, and he went off the other day as well.
He looked as though he twanged something last Sunday against Everton. No doubt about it. Just, you could see him pick up his right leg, and you thought, "Oh, here we go again." It's the twanging of the hamstring.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hold on. The thing is, Arteta then replaced Timber early in the game with Mosquera.
Yeah, and Ben White was on the bench as well.
Which is an interesting decision because, in theory, White is the natural in the position. So, I'm not sure that Arteta rates Ben White as a fullback above Mosquera, perhaps on a defensive level. I'm not sure.
Look, that may well be the case, but with
he's
White
up against Semenyo on Sunday, isn't he? So,
yeah.
I mean, that's going to be, we've got to have someone who's going to bloody defend.
Yeah. And Timber's obviously the best one-on-one defender fullback anyway that we've got in a defensive sense. But I love Ben White. I think he has that relationship with Saka, with the overlap. And Timber always comes inside, whereas White always wants to go on the outside. He hugs that right touch line. But he is not fit. He's hardly played this season. So it's not like he's he can't run. He's surely he's raring to go, but he cannot last 90 minutes even when he comes on. And he's played a handful of games in the cups. That's it. And I feel for him because he is a brilliant player, and he's totally different to Timber. Timber's obviously an incredible fullback and versatile. He can play anywhere across the back, really. But I just don't know what the issue is with Ben White, and probably at the end of the season, whatever happens with the competitions, I've just got a feeling they're going to sell him. He can't play. He's on mega money. He's on big money, and they can't play him. So it'll be an interesting one to see what happens.
Do you think it's a fitness issue? Is it just fitness, do you think?
I think it's got to be fitness. He can't play 90 minutes. He didn't play 90 minutes against... He started the game... No, he didn't start the game at Mansfield. He wasn't even on the bench. He didn't play 90 minutes against Everton. Against Ipswich, he didn't play 90. He couldn't play 90 minutes.
Okay.
I just think it's a fitness thing. They've got a man, whatever condition, whatever's going on, they're managing him. And on Saturday, against Everton, there's no question he was not bombing back. When they got the ball and they were lumping it up to their striker Beto, he wasn't busting a gut to get back. You could see it was, Eze was quite deep on Saturday. And that they were kind of trying to block the run from the Everton left back and left winger, which is a shame because I think we all love Ben White. He's been brilliant for us.
Simon, you were going to say something there.
Yeah, he had this thing with his foot, didn't he? He was playing through hideous pain. Do you remember? Like Arteta pulled him out and said like he's got some, and it was a long-term condition. It's like a condition thing, like bone spur or something hideous like that. I can't remember what it was. It could be that. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, it doesn't matter really. The nuts of it is Alex is completely and utterly right. He's Mosquera's getting the nod because he's fast, isn't he? And he's good. I mean, and he's aggressive and he's on his game. And then you're up against Semenyo and Doku. Shit,
that's frightening.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to target. They'll target that channel.
With Timber, obviously he's played a hell of a lot of football. When he came off last week, I just hope it was and obviously didn't didn't feature against Leverkusen in the week. Hopefully, it's just purely precautionary, and they just want to get him back to full fitness. Because we're going to need a solid right. We're going to need right back for the run-in. That's for sure.
There've been no mention of Mascara in any of the comments since he went off.
No,
and Arteta's is rarely forthcoming when it comes to injuries. But I fear that we may have a similar situation with our first choice right back that we've had with Ben White. They've just played too many bloody games, but that's my.
He did say in the press conference that Timber was a matter of days, he thought.
Yeah.
So
and look, it's very rare.
He wouldn't say that.
Premier League players, they've always got something, a niggle, something. Let they have an injection, they play through the pain. I mean, that's part and parcel of their job, right?
Yep. Okay. Well, I mean, as we've got Ben White forefront of the discussion, you've probably noticed that when we get throw-ins in the last 2 or 3 matches, there's been a dramatic change in policy. We're actually taking them quickly, and we're finding players in this thing called space before the opposition is set. Now, my philosophy on why we used to take half a minute to take a throw was actually a tactic of energy preservation, because we used to do it even when it was 0-0. It wasn't a matter of just shithousery, as they called it, and eating the clock because you're ahead. It was from kickoff that they just took forever to take them a throw. I mean, do you think Arteta's anticipating next season the rules look like they're going to change and there's going to be no time wasting allowed in the way that the goalkeeper now has to throw it out after catching it for 8 seconds rather than dive on the floor, dive on the ball and take 20 seconds to get up? Do you think it's an anticipation of that, or do you think it's tactical where he realises actually we need more time with the ball in play to actually win football matches? Where do you think this change has come from?
Any advantage that Arteta can get, even if it's 1%, he'll take it. And if he thinks he can get that 1% from a throwing coach, none of us are against that. I think the throwing coaches also, hopefully take it quickly, but also to coach the players to, on the defensive side, if the opposition's taking a quick throw, where to go, where to be, where to run, how to move, when to move. It's obviously not an exact science, but I think the change is going to be coming not only to the throw-ins, but also to the taking goal kicks as well.
Was in Capier's throw into Dowson a foul throw, as some of the tabloids have obviously pointed out with great glee on the social media. It looked a bit dubious. It was quick. It looked. It did.
They don't give foul throws these days, Steve.
No, I mean,
it's just something Sunday morning referees do.
I'm sure that the FA, PGML, who delight in coming up with new schemes every year, would like to have a look at that if we're talking about speeding up the throw-ins. I mean, these guys seem to be becoming media celebrities.
What, the PGMOL?
It doesn't really. It doesn't. The foul throw doesn't really exist in the professional game in the Premier League anyway.
It's like corners.
Every game.
Yeah, but it's like corners. Did you see the Leverkusen cartoon that they've sent out that we always take them outside the quadrant? Well, everybody takes them outside the bloody quadrant.
Of course.
Yes, it's the Newcastle United rule these days, isn't it? If there's some vague connection to the line, then it's all right. But yes, I mean, it is more entertaining, though. I mean, I'm actually enjoying watching throw-ins being taken, the ball in play. It seems to be quite effective to me. Let's have a look. Yes, let's have a look at our Champions League last 16 tie. Now, I remember Arsene Wenger saying people got used to caviar, and then when they had to eat sausages, they were in uproar. There was quite a bit of criticism of Arsenal after the first leg in Germany, when I think it's fair to say they were a little fortunate to get a draw, but they did get a draw. And ultimately, that on paper is a good result in a European first leg away from home. Are people now simply expecting too much of this Arsenal team in that they've got to win every game simply because they had such a fantastic 8 matches in that group phase where they beat everybody? And do you think expectations are a little bit unrealistic now amongst even just Arsenal fans? Because a lot of the criticism was from people who do actually support the team. I mean, is this getting a bit over the top, or is it just a reflection of the modern day football supporter and the nature of social media, whereby people are very reactionary and knee jerk?
Can I come in on this?
Yes, Simon.
I think it's straightforward. It's 2-leg Champions League knockout football. You know, you're away, you play it tight. You want to come away with a draw, and then you blow them away, and they blew them away the other night. I mean, and they've been doing it in the Champions League all season, blowing teams away. It's like the shackles are off when they're playing in the Champions League. It's kind of weird. It's like they're playing in the FA Cup or something, or the League Cup. It's kind of nuts. So I think that the away game, it got attritional. They played so deep. They were like doing a Moyes on us or something. They were making it hard, and it's like, and it grows on you. And Arteta probably coached it into them, like, keep it tight. Yeah, you see his face when we let in on a set play. It was like he was mortified. I mean, it's no more simple than that. And it was a get out of jail free, because if that had happened against us, we'd be pissed.
Yes.
Was it a penalty, Simon?
No. I'll be honest.
Well, I mean, it's a mystery that was given, and then they don't give the one that Havertz. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't understand how that wasn't picked up by VAR as quite an obvious bringing down of the man in the area. It's just the nature of the game these days. You get these weird decisions, sometimes in your favour, fortunately, interestingly enough, in Europe, and sometimes not in the Premier League. But I'm sure people will say these things even themselves out over the course of a season. But, I mean, Champions League, certainly the second leg, as you said, very good indeed. Do we have anything to worry about when we go to face Sporting in Lisbon? This is a team that did win 5-0 against a Norwegian side that beat Manchester City and I think beat Atletico Madrid. So in theory, Bodo Glimt are not complete mugs, and yet Sporting pretty much destroyed them. Are Sporting a better team now they haven't got Victor Gyökeres? Are you confident of progression, is my question.
Well, the answer is don't lose, isn't it? I mean, this is we're very fortunate because of our performances in the early rounds that we play all the away games first. So, providing we're not exhausted after Sunday, and we're going to be pretty bloody knackered, but providing we are not totally exhausted and we don't lose over there, I can see us rolling Sporting off. I mean, I'm much happier having them in the draw. I mean, you're not going to get many mugs at this level in the quarterfinals of the European Champions League. So I think we've done quite well. And Bodo Glimt's constant advantage is obviously playing nearly to the 23 hours a day in total darkness. But that's just moving on. We'll be fine. I mean, we could have done a lot worse. And so long as we don't lose over there, I fancy us winning at home. Injuries provided, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we'll win there. I think we'll win 1-0, 2-0. The game against Leverkusen, especially the second half, it was just like a training session.
Yeah.
And I hope it's going to be academic when we play Sporting. Look, man for man, obviously we're far superior. I don't know. I don't follow Portuguese football. I know a few of their players. We've obviously played them a couple of times over the years. But I think we'll go there and I think we'll perform. And like this team is designed to keep it tight. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who we're playing against. The opposition. The game plan won't change. We'll keep it tight and we'll try and score a couple of goals. If we can get a set piece so we can catch them on the break, fantastic. They will go for it at home. I think they will, and Arteta will set up the team, especially the midfield, to try and absorb that pressure and win the ball back and catch them on the break. But yeah, I do. I think it's going to be academic, especially at home.
Didn't they put us out a couple of years ago?
Yeah, terrible.
There you go. Oops.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was the round of 16. Oh,
Yeah.
That was that when Saliba got injured in 22-23?
Yeah.
Okay,
Was it
First one
Champions
back.
League? Was Champions League or was it
Oh, it
Europa?
wasn't Champions League. It was
Oh,
Europa.
it's
Europa.
Europa.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
And we didn't. Well, there was arguments we shouldn't have played Saliba subsequently, which is a wonderful piece of eyesight. But we ended up actually potentially, you could argue, losing the league because of Saliba's absence in the last couple of months there. But anyway, let's hope he's not injured on this occasion. And returning to the game that got us to the quarterfinal and the two goals, obviously the first one by Eze was a little bit special. And I was listening to another podcast yesterday, and it reflected that Eze tends to come into his best form in the last sort of 3 months of the season. That's what has happened historically. I can only believe it because I don't know. I haven't followed Palace that closely. But it's going to provide an interesting dilemma if he has found his shooting boots, because we've got to assume that at some point Odegaard is going to be fit again. And Arteta will then presumably have a decision to make. Are we a better team with Eze playing in that, should we call it, number 8 position? We're assuming that Rice and Zubimendi are nailed on starters. Or would we be stronger with Odegaard there? Do you have a preference if you are picking the team? Steve?
No, I'd have Eze every day of the week. He's physical. Clearly, he's a dry weather player. He's coming into his own. Odegaard has done a tremendous job. He's been disappointing due to his injuries this season, but no, I mean, they didn't give Eze the number 10 shirt just because they thought he was going to play outside left. I think Eze is an outstanding player. He's the most exciting signing we've made since Rice, and personally, I just think, he will start, and Odegaard's got a role to play. I wouldn't be at all surprised. People talk about us selling the likes some of the players, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if Odegaard wasn't sold during the summer. But no, Eze every day of the week for me.
Okay. Alex, what about yourself?
Eze's grown on me. Remember Villa away when Cash scored?
We do.
And
so does Arteta.
Arteta
remembers it
dropped
too.
Eze. And there was a warning sign just before Cash scored. Exactly the same thing. Eze didn't track the runner, but I think he was playing on the left wing.
He was.
One thing for sure, he's not a winger, Eze. Fantastic player, but he has grown on me. I think we're more controlled with Odegaard. He likes to come deep. He likes to hold onto the ball. He plays 1-2s with Zubimendi and Rice. But I think Eze has really improved. And he's obviously, it's taken him a while. And Steve, you're right. He just wants to play in the dry weather and when it's not so cold. And maybe that's just it.
And those through balls, Alex. I
Yeah,
mean, you know, Odegaard is the man who's going to knock it back, knock it sideways, play 1-2. So
yeah, very safe, very reserved.
Eze is looking for the ball where Havertz should have got a penalty. That was a belting through ball.
Yeah, great pass. Yeah, it's true.
And he's not going to give you the graft that Odegaard does. I think anybody who signed him saying, well, he's going to be tracking back and tackling. Okay, he's improved that. But come this time of the year, and you look what he did for Palace last season, Odegaard certainly will have a role to play depending on how he feels. And Odegaard as club captain must feel a bit pissed off, to be honest, A, with his injuries, but B, if he can't get back in the side or is only selected for, well, there's no secondary games, but shall we say some of the less significant games. But, I think Eze is going to see us through, basically.
There are a few people that I speak to quite regularly. They do think that that it's not all rosy with Odegaard and Arteta.
No, I heard that too.
It's a bit weird, the Odegaard injury. No, we've never heard a progress report.
Right.
You don't really, obviously, the inside the dressing room is very secretive, and that's what you want. You want what happens in the dressing room. You want it to stay in the dressing room. But Odegaard hasn't come out and given an update on his injury. Arteta hasn't given an update on his injury, really, anything significant. And I just wonder if he'll even be there next season.
Odegaard. I don't think he will. I think there's a rift there personally, but maybe we're seeing too much into it. But yeah, I'm amazed that nothing has been said about it.
I think Odegaard. I don't think Odegaard's been fit all season. I think he came into.
No, you're right.
He came into the season struggling. He's a lightweight, right? He's in that position and he gets hammered. And last year, I mean, he's been exceptional, but I just think he's just physically been hammered, and it's a difficult. He's one of those he's a frail figure. Eze is terrifying. Eze puts the shit up everyone now. Yeah, they've seen him do it with Spurs. They saw him do it the other night. And everyone we come up against, if he's playing on Sunday, Pep's going to be fucking shitting it. Because
I think the comparison now between Eze and Odegaard is rather similar to the comparison we had with Odegaard and Vieira. We thought one was a bit lightweight in the middle of the field. Yeah. And he's subsequently gone out on loan and hopefully will be sold. But that I think now we have that physicality of Eze. He doesn't get bloody injured, does he?
Okay, so I mean, I'm interested in this idea. Do you think if there has been a fallout, it is to do with perhaps Odegaard shirking challenges? Do you think that's what it's about? Or is it something tactical? I mean, what would they fall out over?
If anything, I think it's personal. It's something that's obviously happened or not happened. I don't think it's got anything to do with him on the pitch. He's a good player. He's a club captain. He leads by example. You never hear of him in the press or on social media being problematic or difficult. He comes across as a nice, a decent guy. But if they're going to sell him, then obviously they're going to have to replace him as well.
He's we've still got Ranieri to come back. But I think if I was sitting as club captain and I saw Arsenal signed Eze and I'd know enough about football as Odegaard clearly does, I could never see Eze being signed as an outside left. And I think, to my mind, these guys know what's going on. When you see, Christ, we've signed him, and it's all very well saying, yeah, well, it's a challenge and all this sort of stuff. But I think from day one, when Eze walked into that dressing room, if I'd been Martin Odegaard, I'd think, shit, he ain't going to be playing left wing.
Interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
He can't play left wing, can he? I mean, he's been awful.
Yeah,
And,
no,
Arteta did that thing where he likes to try and stick someone in a
yeah.
round hole in a square box, and God
Well,
Almighty.
that's when he got dropped. Was when he was playing
Yeah,
that.
it's not the guy's fault, was it? I
Yeah.
mean,
He's not going. He's not going to track back to the left back position and.
Oh, he doesn't want to run. He won't track back as a.
He wants to go forward.
Yeah, he wants to be on the ball and he wants to make something happen.
Robin van Persie, bang.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, we're going to get onto the financials for maybe 5-10 minutes max. And that's part of the reason that I'm very glad to have Simon on the call, because Simon did actually meet with Arsenal's financial director before the figures were released to discuss them. And my first question is, how many players do Arsenal need to sell this summer? Because I'm assuming they're not going to be buying too many, and certainly they won't be buying any unless they do sell a few. So what's the prognosis in terms of this coming summer, in terms of the financial ins and outs for the club? Because they're not in the rudest of health from what I've read in your summary of the figures, which do go up to the summer of 2025, it should be noted. Simon, you're frozen.
No, I've just gone quiet.
Okay.
Yeah, they really. I was gobsmacked when they bought Eze. I thought, blimey, they've gone big. They ain't no money, and even what you've done is like, I don't think there's enough money for it. And then they went and did Eze right at the end, and it was like, nah, it's a joke. They're not really going to do it, and they did, and it was like, wow, because yeah, no, I mean, Stan would have put in a lot of money this season, a lot of money. I think six figures, up to six figure. 100 million, up to 100 million. So going into next year, they've promised to buy in Cape. They've got option deals out on Vieira and Kiwor, which if they worked, I don't know how Vieira's getting on loan, but
Doing well. Scored a fantastic goal on the weekend.
I think he's where he's in his comfort zone, isn't he? So I think those two will like almost wash the socks, and then it's like, okay, how much money what do we want? What do we feel we need as a squad? It'll always start with that, I feel. And you'll then look at how you can potentially raise that money. It's interesting. Someone's mentioned Odegaard. I have half an eye on that one, basically because you got Max and you got Eze and you got Nwaneri. So someone's got to drop out of the equation, I think, in the middle in the sort of non-defensive attacking department. And you've obviously got some of the kids that you've got to ask questions about. I'm sure they'd like to have got rid of Nelson last year. And so yeah, I think they've got to sell to come up with the deposit money, as I term it, for new buys, because you don't pay for it. You pay for it on the drip. So even if they go out and spend like 100 million, they probably have to only fork up like a quarter or 40% or a third of it. So yeah, you need some money to put on the table. I think that means they're going to have to sell someone.
Well, we've already discussed Ben White as a potential outgoing. I think it's fairly safe to say that
he's on big money, man. Who's going to take him on? I mean, this is like, these are like let's sell Zinchenko and sell Jesus,
So they're going out on loan. I mean, the point is they've got to sell somebody to basically presumably stay.
We've got Lewis-Skelly that we haven't mentioned.
He's gone. Skelly's going to go, I think.
Yeah,
I think he might go as well.
I would say that's where, if we are going to,
he's hardly played.
Yeah,
Right.
Indeed, and also he's young. People will pay big money for Lewis-Skelly, probably more than Ben White, particularly with Ben's injury problem.
He's got resale value, Skelly.
Yeah, I would be surprised if Skelly was, much as I like him, he's not getting the game time. He's an England international. He's got to be worth some money, and I would imagine he'd be worth some pretty big money. And I can't see anything changing between now and next season that will suddenly make him break into that team.
Yeah, we've got Calafiori and we've got Hincapié. They've both been fantastic.
Yeah. And he's not going to play in midfield, is he?
Nah. Nelson, Odegaard, Lewis-Skelly, Martinelli.
I would.
Could we get an upgrade on Martinelli? I love Martinelli.
What about Trossard?
Yeah, I think Trossard's going to go. Trossard's what, 31?
Yeah, they'd be my guys that I'd be looking at to get some money out of. Martinelli.
Jesus will go. Jesus is going to go. He's gone.
Yeah. Arteta's not even playing him, so there's no plans.
He's gone.
Yep. Is Norgard got a year left on his deal?
Yeah, I think Norgard's 2-year deal.
Yeah, wouldn't get a fortune, but I mean.
Well, I feel a bit sorry for him. I mean, I think he's a valuable squad, and he's kept his mouth shut. He's got on with it. He's played centre back. Hats off to him. We need people like Norgard to fit in. He's a good signing.
Every time he's played, he's been faultless. He really has. He's good on the ball. He's got good technique. He's a decent guy.
Solid club player.
Yeah, he was this. He knew what he was getting into when he signed for us. Couple of years. I think he's doing his coaching badges, and he's learning. He's learning from Arteta. I mean, you can't have a better, mentor. Nordegaard's 32, maybe 33, and every single time he's played, he has been faultless.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, back to the figures, Simon, and the Kroenkes have been pumping a great deal of money in. So my first question isn't actually so much of a financial one as an emotional one. Do you now have a different view of the Kroenkes than, let's say, maybe 8-9 years ago?
Did I have a bad view of them? Surely not. No, I never liked the big fat Russian. I never wanted him to get involved. Yeah. Wow. Oh, yeah, I'll hold my hand up. I think a load of us got embarrassed ultimately by the way that whole thing played out. And they were right to sit with Stave Steady Stan. He came up to the plate. We had COVID. We needed to sort the debts out. So he paid off the stadium debt. It was 220 million. He's so big deal. He's got plenty of money, but that was when he went in. He didn't want to sell. He turned down the whole David Eck thing, made it plain that they weren't going to go, and we weren't going to bring in and he's backed the team, and he backed them last summer. I mean, he's then changed the top team. That was quite noticeable. Lewis went. He's put two of his people onto the board alongside Josh. I mean, I'm not sure what the board really does very much. It's more about oversight, really. But no, I mean, he hasn't put mad money in. It's Arsenal. They sort of, they're always going to run themselves reasonably sensibly, unless they have, the wheels come off with something like COVID or under Arsenal and co. You dropped out of the Champions League persistently, and the Champions League is everything. I mean, and they even went so far in the board report this year to sort of say, the Champions League qualification is obviously a prerequisite for us. But they've got to get the club self-sustaining. I mean, it's down to lose 100 million quid this year.
Is there any danger? Is there any danger of them actually falling foul of the financial rules and being docked points?
No, I don't think so.
Like Chelsea have. That brutal treatment for Chelsea. 10.5 million quid fine. That was a good one, wasn't it?
Exactly. And they won the Club World Cup.
Laughing.
The Club World Cup.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that always
Sorry.
helps.
And we haven't even spoken about the club with 115 charges.
Well, it's up to 130 now, isn't it? But you know, when you look at the price of petrol and they're owned by the oil people, I don't know whether we're going to be hitting them with the feathery end of the duster. But that's me being cynical.
Well, I mean, let's cover that now. Straightforward question: is that a political government influenced decision, or is it simply down to the football authorities' concern over their legal costs?
I'm not talking about Chelsea, but I'm certainly talking about Manchester City. A serious financial source when I was writing about property in my early days, as well as the Gooner by way of contrast. A guy I spoke to said that there has been discussion at certain levels politically about Manchester City, and basically it's, you know, don't rush anything. And that's from a guy who I trust implicitly. I can't sell the story, but I can mention it on here. And certainly at civil servant level, then there have been discussions along the way that particularly now, but this was before Trump finally went completely bananas, but that's another matter. But it was certainly suggested that those involved with the ownership of Manchester City wouldn't look terribly favourably upon it. Now, that is just, I put it out for what it's worth, but it can't take this long if there's not some kind of interference. And I've no doubt that strings are being pulled.
Well, they're just City will just, from what we understand, they just out lawyer you in legally.
Absolutely.
And when you're prepared to throw £25 million at legal fees, you can string anything out for as long as you want.
And that's what they're doing, because the FA have not got that kind of wonga to throw back at them, and that's
neither of the Premier League. It's just a joke,
and that's exactly what's happening. And they will carry on, and until we'll still be. Was it 3 years now? It's an utter disgrace, as is Chelsea and Abramovich. But there we go. That's our modern game.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see if we do mathematically get into a position where we can win the title, whether there'll be an announcement and some points docked then.
Well, not if it knocks them out of Champions League. They won't do that.
Okay, maybe it won't. But yeah, mate, you just don't know.
It's certainly not going to happen now, whilst there's still all this, can Arsenal do it scenario. Yeah. There's no way this is going to come out at all. And to be honest, I don't know. I don't know how gutless the Premier League is going to be, but I'm fairly confident it's going to be fairly gutless.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I did.
Fine.
Go on, Simon.
Yeah, I remember, there's the guy, and I can't remember, he came along to the trust once and he got sucked into this whole story a long time ago, and it almost like shaped him and aged him because it's been running so long. And he said, they just said, if you're going to spend Premier League, all the clubs have to pay the legal bill, by the way. It's let's go around all whatever many clubs it is, and you all cough up £2 million a year for this year's legal bills to sort of fight City. City are like, we'll spend 200 million. We're lawyer to death, and so you get to the point where at the end of the day, that's an issue. And I think the other one is all the authorities seem really keen to sort of, let's put that behind us. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? It's like, let's look at making sure going forward we're being fair. But it's ridiculous. I mean, we talked about, look at the qualifying 8 for the Champions League. Okay, Sporting are in it. But I mean, look at the money there. The Club World Cup throwing 90 million into Chelsea's pocket. I mean, that's as much as we earn from the Champions League semi-run. I mean, it's they didn't want a Super League, but they're basically going to create one through the Club World Cup anyway. Do you know what I mean? The game is just so money orientated, so dominated by the Bayern, Real, Barca, the PSG now. Okay, City might not dominate our league, but wow, I mean, it's
We're in
this.
that we're in that conversation as well, Simon.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that brings me to the idea that football has become an arms race now, because Simon, you mentioned that in the other costs that are reported in the accounts, the amount spent has been raised significantly. And your point was Arsenal are deliberately spending money to create turnover. So
That's
they're
a
not
bit,
making profit
bit
necessarily.
that's a bit
They,
harsh.
right?
I
Okay.
don't know that. Okay, just to reel my neck back in. I do like to stick my neck out. The UEFA Club Report, which is this lovely little darling document, which if you've never ever looked at, I strongly recommend you do have a look at, because it looks at like the top 24 European teams, and it pulls apart their income basically and their wage bills. And in it tells us how much UEFA believe Arsenal make from selling retail and merchandise. And that number's just been skyrocketing for the last 3 or 4 years. And with it will come an awful lot of costs, not just the cost of the merchandise, but like whoever it is who packs the boxes and sends it out, people in shops, there's a lot of cost with that, and I'm sure there is profit, but not going to be a lot. But we're talking about 130 million quid's worth of turnover now. I think that's the right number. Which all the clubs like to have now in their books, because UEFA rules, the cost control rule is reference to turnover, wages to turnover, and I think ours is the best in Europe. If you look at the report, it's like 50% or something like that. We're head and shoulders on that measure, and most of the big clubs in England, particularly, and also a lot of European ones, they sort of changed the way they did it so that basically, we're the ones that book the revenue from selling the shirts, and then we pay out, our royalties and our cost of suppliers and our people that are running the warehouses and all the other sort of logistics costs that go around shipping out shirts and pants and baby grows and God knows what else it is, and mugs. And yeah,
A
so
very good customer.
sorry.
I'm a very good loyal customer, by the way.
Well,
You're
that's
buying the baby grows.
yeah, people are.
My
There's nothing
son
wrong
just
with
walked
it.
past. He was wearing the pants. I swear to you.
There's nothing wrong with it. I mean,
No, no.
in my book, it's a little carve out. I think it's a little carve out. It's like a little sideshow. It's a big amount of turnover and it's a big amount of cost. And the fans are quite happy that they've got a broad range of Arsenal themed merchandise, as is every other club.
So, I mean, my question is, do you
Yes,
think that Arsenal can keep up with what we'll call the state-run clubs, assuming they continue to be
That-
successful?
that's interesting. I mean, because we have at the moment, haven't we? I mean, Liverpool are like sagging away. I mean, they're another American-owned company, but they're sagging away. City have become like this massive money monolith, and I think it's more about multi-club ownership. There's some pieces, I think Swiss wrote one, and some other people have honed in on multi-club ownership, where you've
Mm.
got you've got clubs in Brazil and Argentina and America and Belgium and Italy, and hey, look, we got this player. Blimey, he's a real starlet, and we only paid 10 million for him. It's like, yeah, if anyone else wanted to buy him, it would be 80.
And just to interrupt, Simon,
Yeah, I do.
Chelsea have got their latest, very successful manager, Mr. Rosignol, from they're one of
Yeah,
their holdings from Strasbourg, which
yeah.
I think will probably cheer us all up. But how can you allow coming to Chelsea with my particular bet noir? How can you manage under UEFA rules to value your ladies' football team at £200 million and sell that to a shell company that is owned by the same conglomerate? And how can this be passed as fair and due trading under UEFA rules. I mean, this thing. I mean, the lunatics have taken over the asylum now. Kroenkes owns the LA Rams. Have had a very successful season. They came runners up in their regional thing. I can see some income being produced there, but these spivs. I probably shouldn't say this, but these spivs that own Chelsea, who can sell themselves a hotel that they already own and then value a women's football team at £200 million, seems just stark, staring, raving mad.
Yeah, lunacy.
Well, UEFA were caught out. It wasn't a problem under the rules. The UEFA have basically been writing the rules.
That's all right. Yeah.
And you've got creative accountants like me who just sit there in delight and say, right, what can we possibly try and construct that gets through the rules,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that Chelsea managed two very creative rolls of the dice, and then this year when they're totally buggered, they get the Club World Cup. You couldn't make it up.
When they're not even entitled, they're not even champions to be in.
How did they get there?
It was like 5 years ago they won it. I think because they won the Champions League in 2021. I think.
Yes, it was last season.
Well,
I thought it was because they won the.
They took the last four Champions League winners were qualified for that Club World Cup. All I will say is that if Chelsea's football was as creative as their accountancy, we'd be watching Brazil's 70 at Stamford Bridge. But that's another conversation.
Weren't also sent off, Suffolk. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Now I know why we're on the old Gits. This is splendid.
Absolutely. So we've done an hour, but I'm going to go for a few more minutes because we do have a match on Sunday, which obviously is against the bad guys. And my first question is the goalkeeper. Okay. So Arteta has been at Man City where there was a policy of playing the cup keeper all the way through, including the final. Arteta was playing under Wenger when we reached the FA Cup finals. When Arteta was at the club, the cup keeper played in the Wembley final. Now, the question is Arteta ruthless and going to prioritise winning that trophy above anything else, including sentiment, and thus he plays Raya? Or is he going to continue with the policy of the cup keeper? What is your gut feeling? And if you were in Arteta's shoes yourself, what would you do? So I'm asking you what you think will happen and what you would do in Arteta's shoes. I'm going to start with Mr. Hill.
Well, it's easy. I'd play Raya. I wouldn't even blink because, they're a unit. The whole team's a unit around him. How many times has he been saving us at the death?
Right, but what will Arteta do? Do you believe he will play Raya?
I honestly don't know what Arteta will do. I think, if Arteta has sleepless nights, which I'm sure he does, he's having a sleepless night about that one. I honestly could not say what I think he's going to do.
Same two questions to you, Alex. What do you believe Arteta will do and what would you do?
I think he'll start Kepa, but apart from that, he'll go as strong as possible. I would start Kepa. I think he's been decent for us. He's been reliable. I think give him a shot. You know what? I think he's not been a problematic character. He comes across it. I think he's delighted to be there. He can't believe his luck when he was playing for Bournemouth last season, and I don't think he can believe his luck. He's now playing for probably the best team in Europe at the minute. Anyway, I think he deserves a start, and I think he will start. Apart from that, he'll go as strong as possible.
Okay, and Steve, same two questions to you.
It might possibly be in Kepa's contract that he plays in the cup games.
Wow.
And I think he'll play. And I think he should play. And I'd take Raya every day of the week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that's a no-brainer, but it's a sentiment, isn't it? That's the whole thing. Well, let's see what happens if a penalty shootout beckons and
But one quick question. My big dilemma is do we start Havertz or Gyökeres?
Well, let's have some predictions, shall we? What's your belief?
I think Gyökeres will start.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I think Gyökeres will start. Team won't be too dissimilar to what we saw the other night.
Calafiore?
I think if Timbers, I think Hincapié will start.
Okay, Steve, do you
Okay,
think
start.
Gyökeres will start or Havertz?
I would start with Havertz and have Gyökeres on the bench. But I think he'll start with Gyökeres.
Simon?
Yeah, I completely agree with the other guys, frankly. I mean, I'd love to start with Havertz. But yeah.
Okay. I think there's rotation, and I think Havertz started against Everton, and Havertz will start on Sunday. And Gyökeres was playing the 2 Leverkusen games, so I just think he's mixing them up. He'll play an hour of Havertz.
Well, that's still, but irrespective whether you start Havertz or Gyökeres, it's still as strong as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. And I mean, let's just talk about your confidence. I mean, are Arsenal a better team than Man City? The table would suggest they are, but it's a cup final and weird shit can happen in cup finals. And we've certainly witnessed it as Arsenal fans once or twice at Wembley, let's face it, especially in this particular competition. And kudos there to Mr. Croft for your background with a very good memory of one of the 2 times we did win this trophy.
And I put the shirt on, Kevin.
Well, that's
well done.
The sense.
Good Lord.
To you.
And I was there against Swindon.
Wow.
I cried my eyes out, Swindon. I cried my eyes. A little boy. It was the first game of football I can remember. And it's been like it ever fucking since. I cried my eyes out.
Hang on. So you were there, Simon? Presumably.
No. Well,
it wasn't live.
Wasn't it?
Wasn't on the telly. They didn't show the League Cup.
No, that was on Jimmy Hill on Sunday.
No.
It wasn't live. No, we all had flu. The Horse of the Year show. No, anyway, I think Manchester City's defence is pretty pony. They've got one hell of a good forward line. I think we'll shade it.
Okay, love it.
No Guehi, Stephen.
Oh,
sorry?
Guehi.
No Guehi. But Semenyo can.
Just talk about the defence. There's no Mark Guay in the City defence because of the rules.
No. Well, yes, Semenyo can play in it, which is also a disgrace. But Guay gets the bonus because he can play he can get beaten by a non-league side and yet play in a quarter-final. But that's all part of the FA magic. We'll win 2-1 on Sunday.
2-1, like it. Alex, how do you feel?
2-0.
2-0, love it. Okay. Simon, are you as confident?
Never confident, Kev. You know what I'm going to say. I was going to be like, I hate these games. Particularly, see, I just think Pep revels in having one over the Apprentice. It's like the Master and the Apprentice, isn't it? It still is, and it feels a bit like that. And I think he gets in Arteta's head a little bit. Some of the ways we've lined up against him lately, it's like, and he catches us short with a tactical layout. So I think at that level, actually, it could be quite significant. I think, still Pep has one over on Arteta tactically. Will that be enough over 90? Guys are probably right. Over 90, you'd favour us, with our tails up and our range of options to shade it. But yeah.
What's your forecast, Simon?
What's my forecast? If we are going to win it 2-1.
2-1. 2-1, we'll take that. Just out of curiosity, in the semi-final, who did Guardiola play in goal for Man City?
I'll tell you.
We've got to look it up. We didn't watch the Newcastle semi. I didn't, certainly.
No.
I'm just curious if he already abandoned the concept of the cup keeper, because obviously if he plays Donnarumma on Sunday, then
He played Trafford.
He did play Trafford. Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll see. In the past, he has done the cup keeper from memory. He has stayed loyal to that, but against Arsenal, who knows? He might have a change of policy. Anyway, that I think wraps it up nicely. And the next podcast actually will be after the international break. And the only Arsenal game we will have to discuss then will be, yes, it will be the Carabao Cup Final. There is no Arsenal game for a fortnight. And of course, we don't have a league game for 4 weeks. So it's nice to have a nice 9-point lead going into that little break. So
please God, they don't all get injured in the international bloody friendly.
Yes, of course.
What's such a nonsense,
isn't it?
I know,
idiocy,
it is.
Absolute. As they fly to Brazil and Christ knows where.
They got a World Cup. They're better off saying to all the players, have 10 days off.
Yeah,
2 weeks off.
It's
madness.
Well, the only thing they do have to do, they have to have the actual playoffs for the World Cup. So certain countries, such as Wales, for example, will have to play matches, but everybody else should just basically take a break. I'm with you on that. But
go to Dubai for a holiday. Oh, maybe not.
Yes.
No.
Well,
I wonder. I'm going to watch Iran train.
All right, beautiful. Well, on that note, I will say thank you to Alex, thank you to Simon, and thank you to Steve. And I will say to everyone listening or watching that I'll be back in 2 weeks' time, hopefully with a celebratory edition, but time will tell. Thanks to everybody.